This assault began at dawn. A large number of Russian tanks and APCs with infantry advanced to attack. The Ukrainians are ready. The artillery enters the fight. The first shot misses. The tanks continue to move. The column splits, and infantry dismounts near the closest tree line. The assault begins. A Ukrainian Leopard and an APC with infantry move out to meet the enemy. A Russian drone operator is tracking their movements. The tank moves forward confidently. Suddenly, a Russian drone appears in the sky. It strikes. Look again. The Leopard didn't feel the damage and continues to move forward. At the same time, the Russians occupy the first line of trenches. This happens without resistance. The AFU are positioned further back.
АГС! Гранаты кидай, давай стрелять! Гранаты кидай! Граната! Слышу, слышу! Вперед! Вперед!
Ukrainian intelligence detects that as many as 8 pieces of equipment are moving in their direction, but the Leopard is already close. It is closing in on the enemy. Here are the Russian tanks with anti-drone screens on top. A Ukrainian Leopard 2 attacks the column. With the first shot, it penetrates a Russian IFV completely. Notice that the shell went clean through. But this raises a question. Why did the Ukrainian tankers hit the IFV moving in the middle of the column first? They could have hit the lead tank to create a bottleneck. The reason, apparently, is that the Ukrainian tankers knew the Russian tanks couldn't penetrate their armor and therefore posed no threat, and they could always finish them off later. The biggest threat to them was the Russian infantry. After all, the infantrymen could have, for example, a portable ATGM. That's why they first destroyed the IFV and then started to finish off the tanks. Meanwhile, enemy soldiers advance further and take the first prisoners.
Пошел, пошел, не стой! Давай, все, руки поднимай! Сколько вас?
The AFU command needs information about what happened.
Автомат забери!
Guys, give me feedback. I don't understand what's happening with you. The one without a radio control and the one with a radio, give me info.
The situation is difficult. Both sides exchange grenades. For now, the Russians have the advantage.
Пошли. А? Я кидаю. Где еще яма?
Вот она еще, только впереди все.
Reinforcements have been dispatched to the Ukrainians. They dismounted at the other end of the tree line and are slowly advancing towards the enemy. Then, Ukrainian artillery hit one of the vehicles in the column, destroying it. Next, the Ukrainian Leopard 2 hit a Russian tank, the first vehicle in the column. As we can see, the Russian tank manages to fire a shot in return. And the second Russian tank behind it also fires back. But they cannot penetrate the Leopard 2. So the Ukrainian Leopard then attacks the second tank in the column and hits it. The shell passed clean through, a complete penetration of the turret. It caught fire. Apparently, the explosive reactive armor on the tank that was triggered caught fire. At the same time, the Russians are entering the trenches. They check them thoroughly, and the commander gives the order to defend these positions. This was a mistake.
Прячься! Прячься! Чисто, держим оборону.
But the AFU is also facing great difficulties. To reach the enemy, they need to check every trench. And all of this is happening under fire from drones and grenade launchers.
Drone. Shoot the drone. Shoot. Did it hit?
There is a drone above us.
The commander gives the order to move faster.
Guys, try not to get too fixated there and keep going because they're starting to work already.
Well, are we going or not? Let's go.
Next, we see that the Russian tank leading the column has stopped. Other vehicles from the column are behind it. The third shot from the Ukrainian Leopard destroys this first tank in the column. A powerful detonation. This means the autoloader with the ammunition inside exploded. It must be said that the Russian tanks stood no chance because their shells could not penetrate the armor of the Ukrainian Leopard 2. Their penetration value is much lower than the weakest spot on the Leopard 2's frontal hull and turret armor. This fact demonstrates how much superior Western tanks are to Soviet and Russian ones. The AFU have advanced a little further. The commander tells the soldiers to clear everything and follow the plan precisely.
Try to clean up, try to finish up everything, and then we continue as planned, provide support to ourselves and smoke. We need to quickly finish the job and evacuate the wounded from there.
Russian drones are still shelling the Ukrainians. Despite such difficult conditions, they continue to do their job. One soldier provides cover, another throws a grenade inside.
Watermelon, careful.
Can you hear?
One of the soldiers heard an FPV drone above them.
An FPV drone flew into the guys. Yeah, seems like it.
The drone lands a few meters away from them. No one was hurt, but they couldn't advance any further. There are too many drones. The Russians remained in their positions. After some time, the AFU launched a counterattack. First, Ukrainian intelligence obtained the enemy's coordinates using a drone with a thermal imager. Several strikes incinerate the Russian position. Next, the assault group arrived. They drive to the middle of the tree line and dismount. Intelligence controls all actions. At the same time, drones suppress the enemy so they cannot respond. The Russians hid in the trenches. There aren't many of them left. The drones did most of the work. A shot from an RPG, and the soldiers begin the assault.
Yeah! Давай наперед. Все, братан, охуенно.
And here they meet the first enemy in a trench.
Петух, блядь, есть возможность сдаться, блядь! Выходь нахуй! Кидаю гранату!
The soldiers don't risk a firefight with the enemy and use grenades for this purpose.
Двое за... крайний зачистки! Пошли!
The AFU approach the edge of the tree line and clear out the remnants of the enemy group. Several grenades are thrown into the trench. After that, a flame appears. There was an ammunition cache in the trench.
Все, жмур!
Ти прикинь, сука, ти мене виглянув, блядь. Петух. Тупо не понял? Я туди запрыгаю повиглядувати зараз. Піда, сука, в мене їбашив очередю.
Part of the trenches has been cleared, but they couldn't free the prisoners.
Оборона на 360!
Now, let's get back to the Leopard. Look at this clip. Intelligence spots 2 Russian tanks. A Leopard was nearby. It fires a shot. A direct hit. After that, both tanks start to flee. But why? Let's figure it out. Most likely, the Leopard did not expect to see 2 Russian tanks here because it was loaded with a high explosive shell, which is evident from the explosion. Reactive armor does not explode so powerfully. You cannot penetrate a tank with an HE shell, and it, along with the other tank, began to retreat. This happens because, despite Russian propaganda, the tankers knew they had no chance against the Leopard and hurried to retreat. And here is another Leopard that single-handedly destroyed a Russian column. The distance between them is about 1.5 to 2 kilometers. The Leopard opens fire. The Russian tank returns fire. This is visible from the smoke after the shot. Immediately after, the Leopard shell destroys it. Another Russian tank attacks. But the Leopard 2 is constantly maneuvering. But why? After all, if it turns its front to the Russians, none of them can penetrate its armor. The fact is that the distance is long and the trees are obstructing aimed fire. By moving back and forth, the Leopard attacks the column through gaps where there are no obstacles. And it does so very accurately. And the Russians can't respond in any way. During the battle, one APC started to flee, while another was hit by the Leopard's shell. All of this, with real-world examples, shows how much Western tanks surpass Russian ones. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next episode.